Payday 2 has a lot of heist locations, many of which have real-world counterparts. These real-life places may have been references for the layouts for these maps. There are a couple rules I'm going to set for each heist that we do cover. The main goal is to find an exact location that matches with the heist setting. If that isn't applicable though, and trust me, for some cases it won't be, I'll just have to take a wild guess instead and pull up some partial matches. For convenience, I will leave which heists are exact matches and which ones are partial matches in the pinned comment description and also the timestamps as well. Hopefully that does make the organization a bit less confusing. I first want to start off by covering the general areas that the Payday gang operates in. While many of the heists do take place in DC, it's pretty hard to cross-reference some of them with real-life locations. It's safe to assume that the Payday gang mainly operates in the DC neighborhoods that are seen on the CrimeNet map. In real life, downtown is the central business district in DC. A lot of major corporations tend to set up shop here. That or they have an office space in this region. Bank Heist and Diamond Store are the two contracts that are implied to take place in downtown DC. It does make sense because these locations are heavily involved with commercial activity. Georgetown is a historical district in DC that has a pretty high tourism. The region has many historical landmarks mainly because a decent number of structures were built before DC even existed. The Payday gang doesn't really target businesses in Georgetown. Foggy Bottom is a district that houses many offices for international agencies, a couple government facilities, and a couple off-campus university buildings. West End is a residential district that contains a lot of condos, apartments, hotels, restaurants, basically anything for all the wealthy people. Within the past decade, a lot of luxury condos have been built in the area. Framing Frame Day 3 takes place in a giant condo that's probably located in the West End. One that has giant proportions and a gold vault. The senator even has the money to have an entire security team in the house. Shaw is a smaller district in DC that has pretty much been the main cultural hub for African Americans. Since it really isn't a business or commercial district, I don't really have much to say about it. Sometimes the gang will move further into the capital if they're trying to get a bigger score. Some heists include the First World Bank and the Big Bank. The gang is also seen in the outskirts of DC on several occasions, usually whenever they have to deal with rival gangs. Such examples include Cook-Off, Big Oil Day 1, and Hotline Miami Day 1. These missions are located in areas that have few or no residents at all. Anyways, time to find actual locations. First up on our list is the First World Bank. Although it is set in DC, the actual reference for the building is in downtown Chicago. First World Bank's exterior looks identical to the old Chicago main post office. It was originally constructed in 1921 as a response to the increased postal activity in the city. You may be confused though, why is it based off a post office and not an actual bank? Well, this place has been used as a film setting for a bank in one movie you may know of. That would be the opening bank heist from the Dark Knight movie. The Chicago main post office was used as a set for the opening scene back in 2007. Now, whether this was an intentional detail from Overkill or not was never confirmed. However, a lot of Payday heists take inspiration from crime movies, so the possibility of the First World Bank's design being based off of the post office is there. Now for the Diamond Heist. I'm not gonna lie, the Garnet building in the Diamond Heist was pretty hard to track down. I could not find one location, so I had to go for two instead. There are two potential matches for it. The actual skyscraper could be similar to the Central Place Tower in Arlington, Virginia. That choice may sound a little bit insane right now, but I will elaborate on that later. The entire jewelry operation going on though is kind of similar to what goes on in the International Gem Tower in New York City. Now, let me explain why I chose these. The setting for the Diamond Heist is kind of weird. Now, canonically, it does take place in Washington, D.C. The only issue with that, though, is the map's background. This city does not look like D.C. at all. The city does not have this high of a skyline. It actually has a limit for a lower skyline, which is why no skyscrapers really exist. If we wanted to stay within the general region, though, we can very much do that. The Garnet building should actually be somewhere in Northern Virginia, specifically in the Rosslyn area of Arlington. While the buildings aren't officially skyscrapers, they are taller than the ones in DC. The tallest one in the region is the Central Place Tower that I mentioned earlier. As for the jewels within the Garnet building, the International Gem Tower has a couple overlaps. We're not taking its appearance into account, by the way. The International Gem Tower is primarily used for the commerce of diamonds, gems, and jewelry. If any firms need to conduct businesses relating to one of those three things, this is the place to do it. So yeah, the Diamond Heist setting is a bit weird. But yeah, in this case though, New York City would be the better choice. The Big Bank might actually be the easiest one to find in real life. The Big Bank is based off the Riggs National Bank, which is currently occupied by the Bank of America. Surrounding buildings in the area also seem to be an exact match for the one seen in-game.
Okay, so I got something wrong, which is why I am using the text-to-speech. The building on the other side is the Treasury Building, which can also be seen across the street in real life. They even got the crane position almost right, no comically large piggy bank though.
According to the dentist, the Benevolent is located at 1500 Pennsylvania Avenue. In real life, though, this would be the address of the U.S. Treasury Building, which is located outside of the White House. It would be close, but not exactly across the street from the White House. The Benevolent was by far the easiest one to do on this list. There will be a lot more dentist contracts. Speaking of dentist contracts, we have another one on the list, and it's another diamond-related heist too, and that would be The Diamond, not Diamond Heist. It is The Diamond Heist, if that makes sense. The McKendrick Museum of Ancient Art seen in the game is based off the Freer Gallery of Art and the Sackler Gallery, both of which create the National Museum of Asian Art. According to the FBI files, the McKendrick Museum is located somewhere near the National Mall, which is also the location for the Freer and Sackler galleries. The outside entrance of the gallery mostly resembles the entrance of the Freer Gallery, just larger in size. The artifacts are even somewhat accurate as well. The artifacts you can steal in game also resemble some of the contents of the galleries in real life. I was also surprised to find out the interiors actually match, or at least for one floor. In real life, there is a floor that follows this rectangular layout with all of the exhibits on the side and an outdoor courtyard being in the center. It's a pretty close match for the plans to the McKendrick Museum, which follows a similar layout. In real life, the Freer Gallery was first opened to the public in 1923 and was the first museum that the Smithsonian had dedicated to the fine arts. The Sackler Gallery was added in a major renovation conducted on the building, which was finished in 1987. Combined together, the galleries hold about 45,000 pieces of Asian art total. Both Hoxton Breakout Day 2 and Breaking Feds canonically take place in the same location. The real counterpart for the location would be the J. Edgar Hoover Building in Washington, D.C., although I'll just be calling it the Hoover Building for convenience. In real life, this is the main headquarters for the FBI. The real Hoover Building was completed in 1975. We only see a small part of the building in game since the actual structure takes up about 2.8 million square feet of space. Within that, we can find medical centers, libraries for documents of films, a lot of laboratory space, a lot of offices, cryptography vaults, and a bunch of other crap. Now in real life, the FBI is currently in the process of moving out of the Hoover Building. 1, the building can't fit all the employees, and 2, the building is slowly crumbling. In fact, they've had to build nets on the exterior to prevent falling concrete from hitting people in the street. So for the past 20 years or so, there have been efforts to build new headquarters elsewhere. Let's cover another classic heist next. Greenbridge is set in New York City, where the Payday gang must shoot their way through waves of cops in order to disrupt the prison transport. The Greenbridge is not an actual location in real life, but there are some lookalikes in New York City. The Manhattan and Verrazano Narrows bridges were the closest matches that I could find. Both of these are suspension bridges that lead in and out of New York City. Other than that, I don't have much to say about it, because Greenbridge is just a bridge. We're going to take a break from all the large-scale heists in order to focus on the smaller one. Let's shift our focus to the Nightclub. The Tasteful Club isn't based on a specific location, but the exterior does bear a resemblance to the 930 Club located in downtown DC. Now it's obviously not a perfect match since both buildings do have their differences, plus the surrounding region for both settings are very different, but both of them have that rundown look and seem to be within the same district. In real life, the 930 is a popular concert venue that first opened in 1980 under the name of the Atlantis. It was later rebranded as the 930 in reference to the club's main opening time in the evening. Don't be fooled by the outside though. This is one of the most popular venues to go to in DC. For the past couple decades, a lot of artists did and still do perform here with very packed crowds. You will be glad to know though that there are no Russian mobsters running around the 930. Yes, this is a really bad heist, but it does have a specific setting and that's all that really matters. The Bomb Forest takes place in Virginia, specifically in a wooded area between a dockyard for the Port of Virginia and Norfolk. The dockyard that I'm referring to would be the Bomb Dockyard Heist, which is an alternate way of stealing the bomb that the butcher's after. There is a heavily wooded area outside of Norfolk with a couple rail lines that went through them. The city of Norfolk does have a couple ports that are used for loading and unloading freight. As for the dockyard, the location of it is unknown, although my guess is that it's also somewhere in Virginia.
Another thing too. The city has a naval station which serves as the main port for the US Navy's ships. They might be bringing the bomb there.
But yeah, that's all.